Hello, Dr. James Bogash, expert in health and longevity, and today we're going to talk about my favorite topic, which is the GLP-1 class of drugs. Think semaglutide, Wegovy, Ozempic, then GIP with Mounjaro or tirzepatide. So, before we go into this particular study and the disappointing results, make sure you like this video, share it with somebody you think needs the information, and subscribe to the channel. That being said, there was some initial excitement of the EVOKE and EVOKE Plus studies, and the early signs were that, hey, this might help with dementia. Keep in mind that dementia is a decades-long process, and these drugs have not been used in the massive amounts that they are used now, maybe in the past 4 or 5 years. So not nearly enough time to impact the development of dementia, but people were excited, thinking that maybe GLP-1 drugs would actually do something with Alzheimer's. It was a pie-in-the-sky dream, because by the time somebody has a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, the process has been going on for decades. So, but the initial excitement from the early portions of the study were that maybe it would help dementia because the high sensitivity CRP was down a little bit, so it was markers of inflammation. However, little side note was that there was a 5% increase in neurofilament light chain, which has been shown to increase with or contribute to Alzheimer's or be a finding with dementia, and a 4% increase in glial fibrillary acidic protein, which is a marker of immune activation in the brain, which is not a good thing. So despite those things, people are like, hey, maybe this is going to help with dementia, and we've been looking for a blockbuster drug, and this is going to be it. So fast forward 2 years to the initial published, when the studies are being finalized. It was supposed to go for 2 years, maybe for another year. The drug manufacturers decided to not pursue that. Interestingly enough, this was on an oral semaglutide, Rybelsus. But what did they find at the end of 2 years? No increase in no impact in dementia, which again, not a big surprise, but everybody's hands up in the air, just completely flabbergasted that this was the outcome after 2 years, and yet not a surprise at all. But there were some surprises in this study. Keep in mind, this was placebo-controlled, so ideally the placebo should be like an inert sugar pill, something that kind of looks like the actual drug being used. So typically when that happens, you're going to see some side effects in the placebo. The brain is a powerful thing. But this is one of those things where there's some shenanigans going. I tried to find what the placebo drug was that was used, because here's the deal. When it comes to adverse events, the authors were like, well, it was about what we expected. 91.2% of people had adverse events adverse effects on the drug. Nausea, those things are not that uncommon with that. The placebo, 84.8%. So you're taking a sugar pill, and almost everybody in the study has adverse effects from that just makes me wonder what's really in the placebo, or is the brain that absolutely powerful that it can have that much of an adverse effect? And if it is, then people were expecting to have bad effects, and turns out they did. But it gets even more interesting when we look at serious adverse events. It was 21.4% of people in the drug. The placebo was higher serious adverse effects, 27.8. Like, how does that happen? How does an inert subject or inert compound have more serious side effects than the drug? It just makes me wonder what they're using for the placebo, because there's lots of games that can be played with the placebo. If they give, so then they look at, oh well, there wasn't much different from placebo, but if you were giving them toxic crap for the placebo, then what are you really comparing it to? And then severe adverse effects, so things like pancreatitis and all that, was 12.1 in the drug, and again higher, 13.2 in the in the placebo. Like that, again, it should be easy to find what was in this placebo, and from everything I said in the clinicaltrials.org, it just says that it's just an inert sugar pill, that inactive ingredients, but again, these are part of the games that are played in making a drug look safer than it actually is. So, as always, I'll post a link to this particular study, and it was really just from this was a report out of a recent, I think it was obesity conference, but I'll make sure I'll post that. Make sure you like this video, share it with somebody you think needs information, and subscribe to the channel.